Ta-da! Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you all are doing well. How is everybody? Oh, I should make sure you guys can actually hear me. Okay, we're good. Okay, did not look at my volume levels before I started talking. Should have done that. Whoopsie, my bad. But hi, hello. Happy Friday. Thank you all for being here. We are back for another BDSM Q&A, as we do every week here on the channel. And yes, the suspense. Yes, I decided to change shirts at the last minute, and so I had to go run off and change shirts because I'm gonna be too hot if I wear that for the whole stream because it is actually kind of warm outside today. So yes, hello. You have to chant my name 5 times for me to appear. Well, don't give anyone any ideas, is what I would say. Bandita camera is not currently on because she has decided to take a nap in a different, cooler part of the house than the living room. So if she wanders over to the on-camera area, I will go and set it up. But for right now, she's deciding to take a little snooze in a cooler part of the house because it gets, right in this area can get a little warmer than, on the nice, cool bathroom floor. Yeah, okay. So before I get into answering stuff, welcome everyone. Hi. If you haven't been here before, we will just quickly go over some ground rules. So first of all, this is an interactive Q&A. Well, you all will ask questions and then I answer them. I go in the order of chats. So if you want to make sure to get your question answered right away, the best way to do that is to answer or put questions in early. However, if you spam the chat repeatedly and put the same question 5 times in a row within 5 minutes, I will not read it. I will not answer it. So be respectful, be polite. I do give people an opportunity, usually by a 15-minute warning before the end of the stream. So that way, if I missed your question, because sometimes YouTube just I can't scroll back. There's a limit on how far I can scroll back. So occasionally I will miss sections of the chat if I don't see a question. You can re-ask it then. If it's been an hour, you can probably put it back in the chat. But if you're doing it if I can see on one screen that you've asked it 3 or 4 times, we're not going to go there. So just be respectful, be polite. And if you want to make sure to answer your question right away, the best to do that is not to spam, but instead to use a donation. And you can either do that through YouTube or through Streamlabs. And with that, it'll highlight your question up here. It'll pop up on screen, and then I will read it and answer it right away. And that is the best way to do it. Oh, no worries at all, Sean. Thank you so much. You are definitely not obligated to gift anybody memberships. I appreciate the thought, and thank you so much for your donation. That actually gives me a great segue to talk about our memberships. So here on YouTube, I have memberships turned on. You can use that to get access to our beautiful, wonderful, adorable emotes that we have in the chat, and that's all that it's for. It's very cute. And they're of me and my dog, and it's precious and it's wonderful. And the only way I can have emotes in my chat is by having memberships turned on. So they are as low of a price as I can make them. They are 99 cents. And for that price, the price of a single Taco Bell taco, at least here in America, you can get access to wonderful, beautiful, amazing emotes for only 99 cents, which I think is a pretty good deal. And Sean will come through during our streams, and sometimes he will gift memberships, which is always very much appreciated. So if you can't, for some reason, you don't want to, you can't afford it, you don't want to get a membership, you might get gifted one anyways if you're active in the chat. So you can also contribute to our little community here by also sharing your thoughts about questions that we're answering, asking your own questions, and just being part of everything. You all right. Does something seem off about me today? Well, I don't know why that comment's being made. Anyways, got distracted for a second. Those are emotes. You can also read the rules down below. Big things to know here. 18 plus only chat. If you're not at least 18, please do not participate in the chat. That is for my safety, your safety, everyone's safety, because I am 30 years old. It is inappropriate for me to talk to random minors who are not part of my life about kink and BDSM on the internet. So we don't go there. It's for everyone's well-being, okay? When you're 18, you can come back, you can chat. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Just please, it's an important safety rule for everyone to follow. Also, rules below, very brief and simple. We've already gone over most of them. Big things I haven't touched on yet would be I don't give medical or mental health advice. So if you want to know about if a bruise is concerning or if you should go to the hospital, I can't help you with that. I can give kind of general advice on certain things. Like I do, talk about how to deal with intense emotions or jealousy or guilt or things like that. But besides that, if it's like, can I do BDSM even though I have, I don't know, schizoaffective disorder? I don't know. Talk to your doctor. I don't know anything about that. That is not my area of expertise. Not appropriate to talk about that. And thank you so much, Twixie, for the gifted memberships. Fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. I have 10 people just got gifted memberships from Twixie. Say thank you, Twixie. Twixie's one of our mods here. So be nice to Twixie. All right, be nice to all the mods. But I have to be double nice. Even nicer than you would have been otherwise. I mean, usually we got pretty nice people here in the live stream anyhow. But we have a potential topic suggestion in the title of the video, which is about ADHD and BDSM, which is a video that I just published. It is actually pinned in the comment section and in the chat box for this live stream if you haven't seen it yet. But I thought we could talk more about that because we have been getting a lot of questions about it, and I know that I've not been able to get to all of them, and I thought we could talk more about that, or we could just generally talk about dating, BDSM, kink stuff, polyamory, using dating apps, etc., power exchange, all of that stuff. Is having technical difficulties anyone else? Oh. Let me see. Do we have, so how is our stream health? It looks like stream health is good on my end. That does not mean that YouTube is not messing something up somewhere else. YouTube is not primarily a streaming platform, so they don't really prioritize supporting it. It would not shock me if someone out there is like having connection issues for the stream. I will keep an eye on it in case it is something that comes up. Yeah, so I don't know what happened with the treat ones. I just left it there because now it's funny. I don't know what happens. I don't know why it's going out to like 10 decimal places. I don't know. Maybe somebody donated in like a weird currency and like the conversion rate. That'd be my guess, is somebody donated in I don't know, Swedish kroner, or like, I don't know, pick a random other currency, and the conversion rate got applied to USD, and because it's 1 USD equals 0.98763328 euros or whatever. Let's like, it messes it up. That would be my guess for this, but also it does entertain me. Yeah, I do have a 15-second delay. Yeah, that's just standard stream stuff, because can't, if you did everything instantly, it would take a lot of bandwidth, and I don't think really is necessary. I'm not, playing a high fidelity FPS game here, so don't really need that. But let's get into some questions. Also, great video earlier. Thank you. I feel like I'm at a weird place in like my YouTube career, where I make such a wide variety of videos. I feel like different parts of my audience like different videos, and like I'll have nothing but positive comments on certain videos, and then I make them and they're fun, and they don't get the views I expect. It's very random, and I'm like, does everyone just only want me to make like terrible outrage content about rape cases and things that happen on social media now? Like, I'm a little concerned. So if you would like me to keep making like primarily educational focused content and like relationship tip videos, I do recommend watching and supporting those videos, because the sense I am getting from the algorithm and from what gets views on my channel is that people just want me to talk about like, I don't know, whether or not Justin Baldoni's into BDSM or like whatever the fuck. And I don't want to only make that kind of content, but it is what generally brings in way more views. So I'm confused. I don't know what's going on there. Just FYI. We're selling Bandita treat derivatives. Exactly. Mm-hmm. This is the first video I've gotten in over a year. That's why I thought you were gone. Oh, well, that is the thing YouTube does. Now I've been posting videos, same as always, same live streams every week, more or less. YouTube does hide subscriptions from people. So, and they actually remove subscriptions from people if they just assume that you don't want to be subscribed to them anymore. So if you are somehow seeing this, you haven't seen me for a while, you might want to unsubscribe and then resubscribe, or turn on the notification bell, and hopefully that'll tell YouTube that you do actually want to see my videos, because I am still posting them. But it wouldn't surprise me at all that some people have trouble finding them, because even though, like, my more recent content is getting monetized more consistently, which is unexpected, but you never know what YouTube's up to on the back end with censoring things. Please say educational. The outrage bait is just being pushed. Yeah. Don't make rage content. No one likes that. I mean, clearly some people like the rage content. Adventure, I guess a lot of those views aren't subscribers, but views are views, I guess. Well, at least according to my analytics, those videos do get me more new subscribers than the educational stuff does as well. So it's not just that people are like watching that video and then not subscribing. They're watching it and subscribing, but then they only want those kinds of videos. They don't watch the, like, you know, how to get started with a power exchange relationship type videos. But yeah, I don't know. Education's my favorite snack. It's also my favorite snack. I like educational stuff. I like, you know, the reason I do this is because it's my most preoccupying hobby. You know what I mean? No, that's fair. Yeah, disassociating with trash videos instead of good education. I mean, yeah, if it's either like really, really intense news or like complete brain slop, I get it. Like, I am very much the same way, where if I've had a week or a month where I've consumed too much news or it's been really heavy in my life, like, I don't want to sit down and listen to an hour-long thing about, I don't know, the psychology of whatever. Like, that's interesting, but I'm not going to retain it because it's there's not space in my brain. You just learned about me today. Well, welcome. Welcome. It's instantly in a live stream. I love it. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm definitely part of the fandom that comes from the outrage and live streams, but I quite like the educational videos too. Yeah, no, I mean, there's such an overlap now in the world. Like, there did not used to be as much overlap with kink and the media, and I don't even know where to start, honestly. I am going to be revisiting a few things soon. There's like a little, like, not enough to make a full independent video about, so I might just make like a little wrap-up video talking about where things are currently at with the House of Cataphor and Armie Hammer and Neil Gaiman, because I don't think either one of those topics are enough to do a standalone video on, but maybe doing like all three of those stories together in like one kind of summary video would help keep everybody up to date what's going on, because I want to know what's happening to the BDSM cult in Australia. I want to know if this guy is going to be allowed to, I don't know, open his own BDSM dungeon somewhere in like Perth. I don't know. Like, I want to know what's going on with that. That's important. And I think learning how the justice system, at least in Australia, handles the tangled web of abuse, manosphere bullshittery, and, you know, BDSM relationships is, you know, I think it could be a good touchstone as a reference point going forward at the very least. But it's not being in Australia, it's hard to find a lot of case updates, and what's mostly been happening is the ball keeps getting like punted down the road, which is not great in the scope of justice, but it is what happens. Anyways, I might just do a little roundup just to get everyone up to speed and all of that. Yeah, Leave It to Beaver is a documentary about Lexi, exactly. Have you done a video about your favorite and least favorite BDSM movie / TV? I think I have a BDSM movie tier list on my channel. I think there, at the time, really the only TV show, I think there was like Submission and Bonding. I think those were on there. Don't quote me. I'm pretty sure Bonding at least was. But it's been a couple years. I haven't updated it. I am going to do a review about Baby Girl. That is happening. But YouTube and movie reviews where you use clips, I don't know how movie review channels do it. I don't, like, they must have some kind of special pass with YouTube. Maybe it's because of the nature of the content they're making. I don't know. They just understand that system better. But every single time I make a movie review, it is the most annoying, long process, because even if anything is obviously fair use, a company will claim a video, then you'll submit a counterclaim, and they will wait the entire 30 days to not respond to it before they release the video. And that's not even like a monetization issue. Like, okay, I don't make money from this video, whatever, fine. I can deal with that. What the problem with that is they block it so people can't watch the video. And what is the point if people can't watch my video in 42 countries? If Canada, the United States, and all of Europe cannot watch my video, why would I release it? That does not make sense. So I have to wait it out before I can actually release movie reviews. It's a lot longer of a process for that kind of thing to come out. Yeah, so it is happening. There is more of it on the horizon, but I do have that video on TV movie reviews. Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's it's not a perfect system, and there are they do eventually release the video. It's just time consuming. Can't even imagine how people would react to there being a trans June Cleaver. Can you imagine how many Ben Shapiro videos there would be about that? They would be feasting for a week on the wokeness. They would implode. God. All right, scrolling back up, we are getting into some questions now. Thank you so much for letting me preamble, and let's see what people are thinking about. Not gonna lie, I'm mostly thinking about this live stream, but I'm also thinking about the new Sleep Token album. I have the opening track stuck in my head playing on repeat right now. New Sleep Token album. It's controversial. I think it's pretty good. Sleep Token thoughts are allowed in the chat. If anyone here, I don't know. I feel like it's very BDSM friendly music. There's a lot of thematic relevance. Ooh, unfortunately, I'm currently taking an indefinite break from BDSM due to a lack of passion for it because of what I think are hormonal changes due to my bottom surgery. Oh, I mean, that definitely happens. I just made a video talking about that. I very briefly mentioned that one of the things that can happen that can affect your relationship to BDSM is hormonal changes, whether that be from starting HRT or going through menopause or getting some kind of surgery involving your reproductive organs. All of that can affect your relationship to BDSM for sure. And it's when it feels like it's outside of your control, it's really frustrating because it's what the fuck? Why is my body chemistry doing this to me? But it is unfortunately something that must be dealt with. And I hope you can find things that are fulfilling. My favorite video, part of your video was talking about praise. I was like, yes, this. Yes, I really that was a good part too. I don't know. I think what would my favorite tip be from that video if I had to pick one that was my favorite? I think my favorite thing is the doing research for people one, because I find that really fulfilling and rewarding, getting to be okay, you say you want to do this thing. But if it's just left up to your own devices, it's not going to get done. So here I am, I'm comparison price shopping, I'm coming up with a list, we're putting it in a spreadsheet, and now you just have to make the end decision and look through the choices and things that I've combed through, and then you get to decide. I find that really rewarding. But I think the praise thing, if you're ever going to try anything from that video as a starting point, I do think the praise one is a good one to start with because most people like it, and it's a good reinforcement tool, and why not? It probably would have the least repercussions out of all the things that we could try. Yes, even Arcadia reminds me of Amo from Bring Me the Horizon somehow. It really, I feel like that's the era they're in right now. They're in their Amo era, which, if you, as a longtime fan of also Bring Me the Horizon, I've been listening to them since Suicide Season came out when I was in high school. I've been there. I've been with them through all the highs and lows. I have a lot of memories of when Sempiternal came out and that whole release, and then they followed that up with Amo, and people were like, oh my god, they're so different and they're changing and now they're pop music, and everyone melted down about it. And then the music they make now, and the music even close relatively in release to they still make heavy, interesting, cool music, but it's not just straight up kind of like interesting sounding, but like not formulaically that different, like screamo metalcore. Like, okay, if I wanted to just listen to that, there's like, I have an unlimited number of albums for just that sound. I don't really need to add more to that discography. I'm okay with leaving that alone. But I think there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of feelings about even in Arcadia. I think for a long time to come, it'll probably be a controversial one for whatever reason. Yeah, it's a membership icon. It's a little supposed to be a Pomeranian, but any advice?
Dickman donated $10.
Wow.
Any advice for dealing with a bad event
Plugged
experience?
in.
The kind of bad that makes you question a lot of things.
Oh, a bad event experience, the kind of bad that makes you question a lot of things. So I'm assuming when you mean bad event, you're not meaning like event isn't a thing that happened. You mean like an event, like a party, like going to a party or a convention or something. I've been in a similar position before where I've gone to a party or an event and I've just been like, what the heck was that? The vibes are off. Maybe I didn't get along with someone. Like it just felt freaking weird. Usually when that's happened to me before, what I'll try to do is not catastrophize is probably step one, right? So you might have a lot of like big, like sequential thoughts about, I don't like this event. That means I'm not really into BDSM, which means I'm a fake, which means I'm never going to be happy in my life, which means I'm never going to find what I really want because I don't know what I want. And then you're spiraling and you're like, do I even really know myself? Is this community for me? And that's obviously really hard to deal with. So instead, we cut that thought off. We go, we're not going to think about 20 steps away. We're just thinking about this first step right here. And what happened realistically on paper as described is we went to an event and we did not have a good time. That does not necessarily have any big deeper meaning unless we decide it has a bunch of, bigger meaning. And I think I would probably want to do, I think this is probably like a CBT thing. I don't know. I've never maybe people want to look this up later. Somebody can fact check me. But I think this is a CBT thing. Is instead of just going with only your first impulse of like, this is the reason why this is, and this is what it has to mean. Like just list out to yourself, okay, we had a bad time at an event. Is that because we're not really that kinky? We're not desirable? What are the other reasons that could be behind that? Is it because the people there suck? Is it because, we were in a bad mood because of other things that have been happening leading up to the event? Is it because, we had other maybe circumstances happening? Like, did we go into the event and we weren't feeling well or we were sick? Or just try to figure out a bunch of different reasons. I would say 5 to 10 of okay, what are other things that could be behind this? Not just my first instinct of why this could be. And you'll probably find that it's mostly not you. You could be part of that. It could be in the mix, but a lot of it is also going to be the people, the community, the environment, and factors leading up to the event and things going on with your body that don't necessarily have anything to do with kink. And I think that's just is really reassuring to know that the one thing that's going on is not you being broken, right? Okay, one second. I'm gonna turn off this light here. I have a ghost light in my bathroom that likes to randomly turn on and off. I don't know why it happens. I can't figure out why. Just every once in a while, my bathroom decides it's going to turn on the fan and the light in there, and I have to go run and turn it off, which is very strange. So I would think about that. Just give your brain some other things to chew on that are not the worst case scenario that you've come up with. And then I would probably, if it was me, I probably would take a little bit of a break just to heal from that negative experience, because yes, there is the possibility that if you go to another event, you might have a better experience and it could just knock that bad experience out of the way really quickly. But if you've had a bad experience, the risk of having two bad experiences, or bad and then a mediocre or middling experience right afterwards, I feel like that does more harm than good. So instead of leaping right into just going to another event, finding another group of people, I would probably just focus on okay, what are other things that I can do to feel happy and fulfilled? What other things could be enjoying right now? And then focusing on enjoying those things. It's beautiful spring weather. There's all kinds of flowers everywhere. It's the perfect temperature. There's so many nice things to go and do outside or just enjoy about life that are not only going to kink events. So maybe that might be something that could be helpful to focus on. It's just like other things. And then let me see, actually, there's another thing that I was thinking of, but I don't remember the word for it here. Let me go on my DVD book again. Let me see if I can find it real quick. If I can't find it real quickly again, I'll just move on. But let me see here. I think I found it. I think this is, I'm in the right section, but this is like the workbook section and not the skill section. Dun. Oh, did I lose it? Oh, here we go. Now I found it. All right. So the skill that I like, that I think is like sort of the guideline of what I follow, is this thing. Oh, it's not going to focus. It's here. It's improving the moment, which is distress tolerance, handout number 8. Almost at 8, it's 9. And this is for like when you're dealing with intense like feelings, but you can't really do anything about it in the moment. So this is meant for like more when if you're in an oh crap moment, like you're at a party and you're like, oh fuck, I'm spiraling and I'm having a really bad time and I don't know what the fuck to do. This is like something that you could do to like, help yourself, but while you're preparing to be able to get out of a situation, like you're waiting for the Uber to show up or something, like imagining pleasant things, finding meaning in what you're doing. Prayer is one of them. It doesn't have to actually be like, it could be like a meditative, like a mantra thing. It doesn't have to be like an actual, like, I believe in God kind of prayer, but that is a thing that people do. Finding a way to relax, and then focusing on just like being fully present in the moment, and then give yourself like a very brief vacation from the situation you're dealing with, and self-encouragement and rethinking the situation. So, as opposed to thinking, oh my God, I'm spiraling, this is awful, this is horrible. Like, how can we frame it? How can we think about this differently in a way that makes the situation more tolerable? This is, I like this skill a lot. This is like a really good thing to have on hand if you're just like, I need help escaping the terrible thoughts and feelings that are happening inside of my brain. This is like a new thing. I don't think I've brought out this part of the DBT handbook before. I'm excited about that. But that's just stress tolerance handout number 9, which I mentioned because therapy is expensive and you can find a lot of these worksheets online. And they're just really helpful, nice little skill checklists if you like want help dealing with something in the moment and you're like, I can't afford therapy. Distress tolerance in general, it's a good skill. That one especially is really nice to have. RSD is rejection sensitive dysphoria. Yeah, and especially with rejection sensitive dysphoria, that's like I maybe want to make a video about that in the future, because I've definitely had, I don't have that, but I've had relationships with people who have that, and it's created a lot of really negative experiences, especially with polyamory, that can lead to some like pretty bad controlling behavior and sort of like rules for me, not for thee. And that's not fun to deal with on the opposite side, but also being the one to experience it also makes it really, really painful. I requested moth and butterfly to be roles on Fetlife thoughts. I'd be curious to see if that gets accepted. I don't have any thoughts about that because I have no idea what that would look like. I think at some point we're just nicknames are becoming roles, and I'm like not sure how I feel about that. Like some of them are very, very, very hyper specific. But I don't know. I'm curious to hear why that would resonate with you, and what do those roles mean? Because I don't think I've ever heard anyone use them before. I feel bad when I'm even lightly rejected, but I hold my bad feelings back to not hurt someone with them. Yeah, I'm learning how to sit with the negative feelings and not like let them out or like act in a way that's hurting other people. That's a thing that needs to be learned over time for sure. All right. I'm going to get to some other questions. Hopefully that gave you some stuff to think about. The rejection sensitivity disorder is, yeah, it's a big one for a lot of people. Yes, I've now added paranormal ARG and unfiction fans to her base. Yeah, oh no, I shouldn't have mentioned the ghost light. Yeah, that's actually, you've caught on to me. That was going to be the beginning of my ARG plot, was the ghost light in my apartment. Looks like the chat is working. I don't think I've seen anything that's been blocked. If somebody's comments get deleted, I actually can see them and it'll show me like, this comment got deleted. What do you want to do about it? I don't see any removed comments, so I don't think that's what's happening for people, but you know, maybe YouTube's being more aggressive about that these days. I have a video idea. What if non-kinky family/friends find out I'm into kink? Are they trying to push personal boundaries around it? How do you set those boundaries? Oh, like, you mean like they like find your Fetlife account and they talk to you about it? Like, are they trying to push personal boundaries around it? Like, if they do, I mean, I guess most of my experience with family, at least, almost everyone I know who has family who's aware that they're kinky, like it's very much they kind of know about it. It never comes up in conversation in the same way that like most people don't talk to their parents or siblings about their sex life in any great detail, because at least in the culture that I'm in, that is not the done thing. People generally don't cross those boundaries with family members. But with friends, that tends to be more of an issue. You get people that don't want to hear anything about it, who like maybe secretly think it's like a bad idea. You get people that want to know everything about it and like sort of treat it in like a gossipy way of like, ooh, tell me about the weird stuff you're doing on the weekend. Like they're not into it. They may be supportive of it and they mean well, but it can cross over into like, let me get out my popcorn and hear about all your crazy stories. And some people like that and they want the audience. They want to be able to say everything that's going on. They like that. Other people, it's like very invasive and weird. And it's like, no, this is like a private thing. I just wanted to let you know so that when you ask me, like, can I go out on Friday? You know what I'm doing instead. And I'm not like lying to you because I don't want to do that. But, you know, some people just don't have any sense of personal space or propriety. As far as how you set the boundaries, I think that's probably the easiest thing, which is if you're around people and you want to tell them, hey, maybe I don't want to talk about this thing. You can just tell them whatever it is that you're comfortable with. So you might say, okay, you know, I guess it depends on how they find out that you're kinky. Like if you tell them or they find out and they have a conversation with you, like what exactly you would say next. But let's say theoretically, like you tell them that you're kinky, you might just say like, yeah, I just wanted to like be open and honest with you because I trust you and I respect our relationship. Just so you know what I'm getting up to on the weekends or on Friday. If you're wondering why I can't meet up with you, I'm really not blowing you off. I just have other things that I'm doing that are separate from this friendship. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have about like my safety or concerns you might have. And you know, you can set whatever boundaries you like around, you know, how much disclosure you want to do. Usually I would probably say something like, I'll let you know if I'm not comfortable getting into something. But I hope that you can respect my privacy. Just kind of give people the sense of like, you're willing to talk about it if you are, you know, for safety reasons, but that you don't necessarily want to divulge a lot of personal details and that you're going to like, as things come up, like say whether or not you're comfortable with something. Because people that don't really know about kink, they might not know what appropriate questions are or not. And, you know, you might have to be more specific than you might think when it comes to setting those boundaries in the moment. When I told my sister I'm poly, she decided that meant I was available to have sex with any of her lonely friends. And that was oh my God, that was super offensive. Oh my Lord in heaven. That is terrible. Yeah, that's definitely a like, so I'm happy that you're so accepting of the fact that I'm polyamorous. To be clear, I mean, the sarcastic, but I think the answer that would maybe cut through things the quickest on that would just be like, just so you know, don't pit me out. Like, that's not what polyamory is. And they'll probably be offended by that, but it might get through to them. Or they might be so offended that they shut down. So maybe don't say that. But definitely say, like, hey, I'm happy to, share with you that I'm polyamorous. That does not give you permission to offer me to your friends. Do not do that. Just be very clear. Be very concise. You don't have to explain anything or justify. You don't have to say you should respect this because it makes me uncomfortable and it hurts my feelings in a specific way. Like, it should just be enough just to say, I'm not doing this. That's it. That's all. Do you think the concept of new social media apps evolving into an alternative to YouTube/Meta gets too many doomer replies and learned helplessness? The concept of new social media apps evolving into an alternative to YouTube/Meta gets too many doomer replies and learned helplessness. I'm not sure about the learned helplessness part of that. Are you asking, like, people replacing YouTube with other, like, talking about the idea that YouTube might be replaced with other social media apps, like, gets people talking about how, like, YouTube isn't going to last for forever and, like, eventually everything's going to be in, like, one social media app? Like, you're talking about that kind of doomer thing? I guess my short answer is, like, no, because I don't think I've seen any replies that maybe fit that. Maybe not understanding what you're trying to say. Like, apps, I'm assuming they mean, like, Instagram and, like, TikTok and stuff. I mean, TikTok would be the newest one. But as learned helplessness, I don't think applies here, at least if I'm understanding the concept correctly. I think people definitely get, like, oh my goodness. Somebody's listening to music very loudly outside. Is that my neighbor? What is that? Okay, somebody is, like, thumping the bass in their car right now. Good God, okay. It's, like, distracting. Like TikTok or, like, WeChat group discussions. I'm assuming they mean apps like TikTok, because I don't think, like, Telegram isn't replacing YouTube. I don't think. TikTok might be more likely, but TikTok is so censorship heavy that I don't think that's going to happen either. Imagine thinking Genocide Central that is Meta and the Circle Jerk of Corn bot accounts and blue checkmark Nazis evolving and isn't. Wow, I messed up that entire sentence. Let me try that again. Holy crap. Imagine thinking Genocide Central that is Meta or the Circle Jerk of Corn bot accounts and blue checkmark Nazis evolving into a better alternative to YouTube. Oh yeah, like Twitter? Yeah. No, Twitter is probably the worst offender right now, honestly. Like, I mean, I guess I don't know, I'm not on TikTok, but and also not on Facebook, so I don't know what the fuck's happening there. But from my experience, comparing YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and Twitter rather, Instagram has really terrible comment sections occasionally. Like, if somebody makes a video about polyamory or BDSM, there's so many comments under there because it's, a meta thing. So I'm sure it's also getting set on Facebook too, which probably contributes to it, of like, this is so fucking weird. Like, why can't you guys just be normal? Like, all the top comments like tend to be like really judgmental, and it gets, especially for popular ones, like it gets so far outside the usual audience that it is filled with pretty negative people, especially for stuff about polyamory. And like, hey, if you want to go viral on a social media platform, especially TikTok or Instagram, make a video about how disgusting you think polyamory is. That is like the way to get like easy 500K views. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, polyamory sucks. It's the worst. Everyone who does it is ugly and terrible and awful. And this proves it. So if you want that experience, you can do that on one of the Meta platforms or TikTok. But I find it's really easy to ignore comments on Instagram because it's not the main feature of the website, is not the comments and the replies back and forth. So you can just scroll on there and see like the nice educational content and the relatable memes and the videos and like share stuff with your friends or your partners. And like, that's fine. I also find it's a lot easier to curate what I'm seeing on there. Like if I say Instagram, hey, because I stopped using Instagram for a long time because it very quickly, I like fitness content. I like stretching tips and like mobility stuff. And if you're a woman on the app, it very quickly like goes from like actual good educational content about like warm-up routines or stretching regimens that are like scientifically backed. It goes from that to like weight loss, transformation, thinspo content in like no time at all whatsoever. So I've had to do a lot of work to train the algorithm to like not, did that the wrong way. To train the algorithm not to show me that kind of thing. But it does, like within a couple of clicks to be like, not interested, this makes me uncomfortable, it'll stop showing me that content. But like it goes from like normal like advice, fitness, vegan food content into weight loss, thinspo, like transformation content very easily, which is not pleasant. But I find I have more control over that. Whereas I feel like with Twitter, I can tell it over and over and again, I don't want to see this kind of content. I don't want to see this kind of account. I don't want to see something from this particular account. I block people. I mute people. And I still, like, when I go on Twitter, like once every couple of days to like promote a video or send a link to something, even if I'm not using the app or on the website, I'll log in, I'll see like 5 seconds of a feed, and then I'll walk into like the middle of a fight of, you know, people arguing whether or not you can, consent to getting a black eye, or, everyone who's kinky thinks that they're like so much better than the rest of us, but actually kinky people are the ones that are recreating the patriarchy, and so actually they're the ones who are like perpetuating like harm against women or whatever, insert that kind of thought here, and it's very frustrating. Yeah. Oh, my chair moves. Yeah. It's got wheels. It moves around. My chair doesn't. It's my desk that moves up and down. I have a sit-stand desk. I don't normally actually have it standing because my cords aren't long enough and everything, so it might unplug stuff if I have it up to like standing height. But I kind of I like alternate how I sit enough when I stream to where like I need to be able to alter the height, so that way I'm not like down here. Or like my head's off camera at some points. I don't know how other streamers do it, where they sit in like essentially one posture the entire time. Could not be me. I froze. I don't think I froze. Did I? I've been getting a bit frustrated with Papa Meat's video about kink and polyamory. Not sure if you're familiar. Papa Meat. I remember there being a guy named Papa Gut, which was an even weirder fucking name. I remember him making a video about like kink and pride that was like fairly positive and like supportive of kink and pride. Is that the same person, or is that a different guy? Who's this Papa Meat fellow? Am I gonna have to respond to this? I actually maybe know who like this creator is, and I just like don't remember their username. It's also a distinct possibility. Well, when I type in Papa, was the first thing that came up. This person has 3 million subscribers. The secret, what the fuck is this? What is this? I need you all to see this, because genuinely, what the fuck? What are these thumbnails? Okay, you guys can't. I forget, I have my focus set differently on here, so you guys, I don't think I can actually like make it so you guys can see this and we'll focus. Ah, damn it. Wait, can I get it to focus on this? Because now I'm invested. Nah, I can't do it. Okay. Gonna have to look way back here. Wow, yes, very weird thumbnails that look, they have to be from photos, but they're super hyper edited. Almost to the point of looking like a drawing, but they're not. It's like very Mr. Beastified is what I would say. But like not Mr. Beast. Is it the one? Is it the one he made about swingers? Is it that one, or is it a different one? Because the conflation between swingers and polyamory is a whole other level of frustration. He also apparently ranks like fast food content. Oh no, wait, here, I found it. The Confusing World of Polyamory. Great. Love that for me. Wow, that has 1.5 million views. And you want to know why? Here's the thing. It's first of all, he made her hair blue, and her hair is not blue. So you know what that signals to me? This is attempting to draw in the anti-feminist, blue-haired SJW cry bully snowflake lady thing. Because I forget what her name is, but she was part of like a big like tech scandal. I think one of her partners did that, and I guess she had some weird Tumblr posts. And they edited her to have blue hair, so that way you know that she's an ugly feminist. And ugly feminists do polyamory. Oh, geez. Yeah, not shocking. Because, of course, we have to equate polyamory with things that people don't like. We have to prime them to, the two people, there's like two people behind her in the thumbnail. I don't know who those guys are supposed to be. But, don't you know that, I don't know how to break it to people, that, like, regular people are also ugly? That's my favorite thing about the comments that are like, people who are polyamorous always look like that, and they're so ugly. And, how dare they think that they're, like, worthy of having a partner, blah, 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 blah. They're so hideous. And it's like, do you realize that average people also, like, monogamous average people are also not super attractive? And that, like, most people aren't attractive because that's what being attractive is, like, an outlier. It's being above average. I didn't realize that you had to be hot to be allowed to date people. I find that so weird. Yeah. As a second channel, it says he has second channel, 3 million subscribers. Wow, this must be like a really big creator. He mainly does intentionally creepy animations. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, I remember that now. Mm-hmm. Of course, we got to have the blue hair trope, so they feel vindicated with their weird obsession with others' bodies. Yeah, and that's what irks me about content like that, because there are definitely, like, actually, I've been thinking about making a video review of a book that came out that's like a memoir about a woman's open relationship that I think Alizi just did a video about not that long ago, and I've seen a couple of other like bigger like book review type accounts do videos about, but none of them are polyamorous, so they're not coming into with that background. And the issue is when people conflate legitimate criticism of like individual persons' practices with wide sweeping statements about a group as a whole or a practice as a whole. And in this case, painting with a broad brush, be like, look, they're like the other people you already don't like. So clearly they're worthy of our scorn and hatred. And when you mix criticism about, people rush into polyamory and it can ruin marriages and people think it's going to fix their relationship, but it doesn't. Like, that's something that's worth talking about. What's not worth talking about is, haha, uggo, blue hair. Really? We're going to spend our time being like, look at the ugly person? What the fuck? Yeah, that book was wild. Yeah, I don't know anything about it other than like a lot of people had big reactions to it, and I'm sure I would cringe with the whole thing and just feel a lot of secondhand embarrassment. If so, that's so funny. Insulted her once on Tumblr. She's the opposite of a feminist. Well, listen, if it's a woman online, she could be a feminist, so they have to... I do remember that, actually. Wasn't she very like, kind of, if I had to summarize that lady, whose name I cannot fucking remember, I sort of got, like, auditioning to be an Elon Musk surrogate. Like, what's the vibe? Like, I think their problem was not the polyamory. I'm pretty sure it was the, like... the, like, ethno-supremacist... we need to make sure there's lots of smart white baby stuff. I think that probably is something that needs to be observed. I think that's probably the issue. Hopefully not in the mirror every day. It's not positive self-talk. It's always men with Greco-Roman statues or, I'm not going to say that next one. Or an anime avatar talking about how whomever are ugly, surely they have a very flattering Aryan visage. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm-hmm. All right. Next question. Yes, they are using Caroline Ellison. That was her name. Caroline Ellison is a stand-in for polyamory. It is. Yes, that is the one. Yes, it's a Sam Bankman-Fried thing. I like remember his face, but like all the names associated with that like leave my brain instantly. Yes, those are the people involved. Aw, thank you. Maybe next time I'll bring my like skincare stuff with me because I feel like I found like a good like streaming makeup situation. I got some new products from Sephora from their annual sale, and I'm pretty happy with what I got. It's been I don't have to wear like super heavy makeup constantly now. It's pretty sweet. Her famous Tumblr post was something about polyamory as competitive Chinese harem and talking about the fine gradation of different races. Yes, I feel like the second part of that is like way worse than the first part. Like anything that if you start doing racial hierarchy, almost anything else you say before or after that cannot be as bad. If you start being like, well, actually, if we look at the facts, like, no, we're not looking at the facts. Those aren't facts. Be quiet. Shh. Why are you like this? Yeah. Always worth checking the hard drives, yeah. Just the idea that a different platform where the algorithm lets you promote and signal boost what you put out with less censorship. Telegram's evil AF. Oh, yeah. No, I don't think other platforms let you promote stuff. I think everything else is so much more algorithm based that it's so much harder to break through. That's what I've heard from people that have moved from TikTok to YouTube actually, is especially if they want to make longer form content. Like with TikTok, it's so random. If you have to be very on trend to get recommended, and you can make 2 videos back to back that are almost the same. And then one will get like 5,000 views, and then the next one that you posted like the next day will get like 500,000. It's just a combination of using the right audio at the right time and the right topic, and being really like snippy and controversial, and it's demanding in a different way than YouTube is. Whereas I think YouTube, more people are like organically looking for specific stuff, and so it's easier to find an audience who wants what you're making, as opposed to on TikTok you have to figure out where you fit into their framework. Oh, and we have a super chat here from Psycho Salad. Had my first Femdom session. It was a raging success. It's clear she really likes me because she keeps her Dom services kind of private, and she trusted me enough to open the door to me. Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that went really well. Thank you for the update. I appreciate it. And I hope that you get to keep having fun and that continues to develop. Congratulations. Finding a good Femdom can be a very tall order. Watch the new Polyfamily show. What is that? Polyfamily? Oh, goodness me. It is a TLC. Oh, no. Oh, I'm glad you guys can hear my, like, first reaction. Oh, no. Oh, I'm not. Oh, no. Oh, no. Is this going to be like... is this going to be like secular sister wives? Are they replacing sister wives with this? Oh, we're so cooked. Everyone on the internet is gonna do a reaction to this, and they're all gonna talk about how terrible polyamory is. We are never recovering from this, I fear. Yeah, I know. Everyone instantly was like, not sister wives, yes. I go live every week. I go Fridays at 6 o'clock. Though not next week, because I will be out of town taking care of some family stuff next week. It is TLC. All right. Now that the laugh storm is over, the description reads, 2 married couples navigate living together and raising kids as a closed quad in their unique and non-traditional family structure. Okay, so they're like doing a polyfidelity kind of situation, which I think if you're going to introduce the mainstream world to polyamory, I actually do think that polyfidelity is the best way to do it, because it's the most similar to other types of other relationship structures, right? It's the most similar to monogamy, where we're not all like dating 5 different people. There's not people coming and going constantly. It's stable, it's steady, it's long term. It just meshes with like American family goals a lot more. Okay, Oh no, and they want a baby. Oh God. Oh no. And they want, this feels like a Reddit post. This feels like somebody made a Reddit post into a TV show. Oh goodness. Oh, and it's airing right now. Oh no, it has 4.3 stars on IMDb. Oh, we're so cooked. Oh no. Okay, what streaming service is this on? It's on Max, it looks like, and Hulu. Oh, no. Of course. Well, they have to have a bit to, like, make it so it's worth doing a TV show around them. If they were, like, super stable, they didn't want anything different. Now they have to come. This is definitely like the Reddit post I did a reaction / dissection of like a couple months ago, where there was this polycule that was like basically the same thing. It was a polyfidel situation, and like to the point that everyone was so intertwined that people didn't really care about knowing the paternity of like different kids, and everyone had different combinations of kids with like different parents, and it was all over the place. It was wow. Oh no. Okay. I think here's what I'm worried about. They're having kids, and all of them seem to be like larger people. Like they all seem to be just like larger people overall, and I think that is like, this is like primo look, poly people are uggos like fodder, just from that reason alone. Because again, ugly people are not allowed to be happy. Fat people are not allowed to be happy. You have to suffer alone and die alone. If you do anything else, you're a burden on the world. Oh God, it's just awful. Anyways, holy guacamole. Wow. That is a thing that's happening and being put on television. I'm putting on a title now. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know about that, because I don't know if I'm gonna watch that or not, but Jesus, yeah. Polyfidelity is definitely easier for the normies to get. I feel like maybe polyamory maybe is better for me, but I'm still not sure and exploring. I mean, yeah, explore. Why not? You'll never know. Lexi said goodbye. Well, belated goodbye, Lexi. Ooh. Please let's cringe together in the Patreon stream. I can't watch this without moral support. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I'm gonna have to watch this on Patreon. And it's still coming out, so maybe I could do I don't know how many, does it say how many episodes it's supposed to be? How long is it supposed to go on for? If it's gonna be like 20 episodes in a season, I'm probably not gonna keep up with it. But let me look at this. All right. Polyfamily. Maybe it'll get canceled within this season. I don't know. How is there a Wikipedia page for this? I know there's 3 right now. I don't know how many would be like typical. I'm gonna guess like 8 to 10 probably. Oh, then they've got a subreddit for it already. There's a Polyfamily subreddit. It's Tuesdays. It's every Tuesday. Well, if it's every Tuesday, then we could watch it on the Tuesday streams. Like we could watch like, every other, or maybe like once a month or something. We could like watch like 3 or 4 episodes after they come out. Oh God. Oh no. You're not gonna guess what the top comment on the subreddit is for this subreddit. Oh God. Okay. I see you got 2 super chats. I'm gonna get to those in a minute. I am a Femdom. Do you know what any other creators I can watch? And then for Mr. Beansman, had my first encounter with kinky friends outside of a kink event, ran into them at the game shop where I play fighting games every week. Oh, they came to the basement to cheer me on. Oh, that's so sweet. Glad to hear it was a good interaction, or at least it sounds like it was. Okay, so I need, now that I've read this and I've hinted at it. Oh no. Oh yeah, no, I'm great. I'm fine. After seeing those videos I thought was about a BDSM party freaked me out. Well, okay, fucking get a load of this. TLC yet again. So if I want a job at McDonald's, I have to provide multiple references. Yet, potential sexual predators can get a show on a television network. 2 episodes in, and there are so many allegations. I wonder if they will even be able to get a season 2, or if there'll be too much out there for TLC to be able to continue to make the show. Also, these poor children. The oldest boy looks so uncomfortable all the time, and that trash bag Sean is comfortable enough to treat that poor little girl the way with cameras rolling and multiple people are watching behind the scenes. What happens when the camera crew goes home? Oh, no. Oh, this is not... I mean, they pick messy people on purpose for these shows, right? But, okay, there is some kind of sexual issues. Geez. Okay, great. So this is going to be a terrible representation for polyamory. And apparently, I can't see any other information immediately about like sexual assault allegations or predator allegations, but apparently, according to that person, they're out there. So, thanks, TLC. You really did the poly community a solid there. Jesus. Oh no, and it's child abuse too. Oh god. Oh fuck. Oh no. Why? Stop giving predators television shows. Why is it so hard? Stop giving them television shows. Yes. Yep. Child abuse guess was correct. Fucking apparently. Well, if you want drama, you get really messed up people, reality TV at its finest. I mean, there's like other shows that TLC has made in the past where like the people involved were like not like terrible, horrible people on camera, like abusing their children. I think, well, I mean, I was a kid when I watched this and my family had it on, but I remember like, I don't think Little People, Big World had like a lot of, like at least initially, a lot of like controversy around it. They were just like a nice little family that, well, I guess that was unintentionally upon my bad. Like a nice small family. Living out in like rural Oregon somewhere. Like I don't think they didn't harm anybody. Scandal cells apparently. Well, like, okay, I don't think this is scandal. It's one thing to be like, he's a cheater. They've been secretly divorced twice. They have like a secret kid from like a first marriage. Like that's the kind of scandal that gets people to watch TV shows. When you're talking about like a Josh Duggar situation, maybe let's call it. Like that cancels television shows because even if people like, in most cases, a train wreck, the one thing that pretty much universally no one will abide is a child predator. And unless the show is about destroying the life of somebody who is a child predator, people do not in any way want to financially support that person, i.e. making it so they get a contract for a second season for another season of television, where they're kind of inherently going to be protected and, you know, the allegations are not going to be directly addressed. So I imagine it is what the kids call a bad look to have this kind of show on their network if these allegations at all have any level of substantiation. I do wonder a little bit if they knew about it and were like, oh, it's fine, whatever, these freaks are weird anyways. Like, I don't know if maybe they dismissed it and knew about it, but I don't know how they find people for these shows. Don't know. I think they ran out of stories with nicer people, got lazy, went for the weird and stayed with it. I mean, it's not unlike some of the, you know, the sloppy, like the truly like documentary channels. It's the same thing. Look at these weird people. Look how awful they are. Let's document their lives and then make fun of them in the comment section. Like, it's a thing that works. It's a good formula for getting views on YouTube. It's not surprising to me at all. Yeah. All right. Moving back over to some questions. We had a super chat of somebody who asked for Femdom YouTube channel recommendations. And the one recommendation that I have is for Morgan Thorne. And I'll put her name in the chat, so that way you guys don't have to spell it, but it's MorganThorne. Morgan Thorne. she came back and made a couple of videos like recently-ish, but I think because of health issues no longer like regularly makes content, but she has a pretty good backlog of content on dominance and topping from a female perspective, which I think is really valuable to have. It's really hard to find good femdom content creators who make just educational content, because though there are a lot of female dominant people, or people who are projecting maybe female dominance on the platform, making YouTube videos and shorts, the vast majority of them are just like thirst trapping an audience to get them to go to their paid websites or to hire them for a session. Like, the intention isn't really education. It's more about like, look at me and my fabulous dominant life and how sexy and amazing I am, and look at all my cool BDSM toys. Let me tell you a story about how I stepped in this one man's balls. And like, it's not actually about like education about how to do CBT in a safer way. It's like in this like ASMR like kind of voice, they're like telling you about how they stomped on a guy's dick, and like it's when you watch it, the intention behind it is very clear. It is not actually about, it's about, I think actually YouTube updated its content guidelines, I think as a result of that kind of content being very popular, where they recently started in the last like year or so recently started to crack down on content where like, even if it's educational, it can still be used for like salacious purposes, and like they crack down on that. They have some weird way of phrasing it, because people, you can't share personal experiences is the I think the wording of it. So you can't share personal experiences, even though personal experiences can be educational and informative, because so many people use it to have it like be a thinly veiled role play story time of like, you know, essentially giving somebody a YouTube friendly version of, you know, audio sexual role play. And, you know, hey, I get it. You got to advertise your content somewhere. You got to build an audience somewhere. But it's very confusing for when people are looking for real educational content to run into like walls and walls of that, because that's what a lot of it ends up being. Yes, it makes me so mad. Thank you for the recommendation. I'll watch her. Yes, Morgan Thorne's really good. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else who like makes regular YouTube content that I'd recommend. In general, if you're looking for content for femdom stuff, actually a lot of the good stuff is on like Instagram, or people have like newsletters. My favorite, I love Midori. I think she's fantastic. If you don't know who Midori is, just Google Midori BDSM, you'll find her. And she actually does have, she runs actually you can look this up too, Midori's Consent Dojo. I actually have an episode that I did with her, and that'll lead you to her other content. And she does that pretty regularly in here. She does podcast appearances. She has tons of educational content on her various other social media platforms. And she's probably like my number one recommendation for like female-led relationship femdom content. She's fantastic. She's like very inspirational to me as a creator. I think she has a very unique perspective, and I love how much she emphasizes like authenticity and finding your true voice as a dom, and not following a script or a stereotype or what you think you have to do to be a dominant. I think the more voices you hear that are preaching that, the better. So I love her. She's great. Oh no, yeah, LX I don't recommend at all, because she's very anti-sex work and like has some weird pseudoscience beliefs, and I just get a bad vibe from her content overall, to be honest. No, I'm not a fan of her. Beauty Ray, I don't know who that is. I have no opinion. Yeah, no, she said also anti-porn, anti-sex work. Very like not even like a sex, I think she's also like kind of anti-feminist as well. Just sort of blanket like center right beliefs that don't align with like my philosophy of BDSM. Like, I'm sorry if you're gonna make femdom content but you're anti-sex work, what do you, why? You know, just stuff, why? Can't promote that, sorry. It reads as obvious finance advice scam type of person, like we're talking about The Secret kind of stuff. Yeah, I can see that vibe for sure. Yeah. Is one of the suspicious channels. Oh, sure, yeah. There's so many suspicious ones. I don't remember all of them, especially if I've only seen them once. Yeah. Oh, and the transphobia. Yeah. It's just because, I mean, do you ever just get one of those? Is it ever just their only, like, anti-porn or anti-sex work? I mean, there's a reason why they're called SWERFs, you know? The SWERF-TERF overlap is pretty big. It's a pretty big one. So, yeah, not surprising to hear that, unfortunately. And I'm not, like, actively gone out to look for that kind of thing, but just to check, it would not shock me to hear that's the case. Oh, yeah. No, people of all political persuasions do BDSM. And especially, you know, in the public arena, a lot of educators are more center to left-leaning, but privately or in certain community spaces, a lot of them are actually quite conservative and, like, anti-sex work and, like, anti-trans, and seems contradictory to me. Not the way that I do BDSM at all, but some people are the way for sure. And, you know, why support people that have beliefs you don't align with, right? Black BDSM educators. Oh gosh, I'm not on YouTube, at least that I know of. They're definitely on Instagram. I don't know what their username is right now. On Instagram. Maybe let me double check before I recommend. Actually, I've interviewed them on the channel before, but it's the Rope Doula on Instagram. Does a lot of rope education content, both as a top and a bottom, and they make pretty regular content about BDSM. Still, the hard part is like I know people, but then like a lot of them like don't have channels anymore. They don't post anymore. So like active accounts is a whole different thing. But I really like Shakti Bliss is really good. And I'm sure there's other ones, but I'd have to like scroll. I have to like scroll through my Instagram to like see who I'm following and then like write out names. So, but that's definitely the one that sticks out to me the most. And there's definitely a lot of like people of color that are educators like in the community who primarily teach in person. On social media, it's a little bit less common because, you know, you have to deal with a lot of censorship and racism on social media that's usually more constrained in real life. But they're definitely out there for sure. I'm sure there's probably people on TikTok too I don't know of because I'm not on there. But yeah. Good. I'm glad that you're feeling better. I know it's rough. Okay. Is Sony Megatron I like as well. I do not know. I don't know if I think I've seen like one picture of Sunny Megatron. I don't know if she's black or not, but she's a good educator, so I'd recommend her regardless. I mostly know her as like a podcast voice, so I'm not sure. All right, let's get to some more questions. Why do you think so many subs on Reddit tell such horrifying stories about so many doms? Or am I just reading too much r/BDSM advice? When you are on social media, if you're on an advice page or a support group, you are, you know, people are not on there to share their nice, fun, happy stories, their success stories, right? People don't write advice columns about how, dear whoever, can I get advice on how to show my lovely, amazing dom how to like love him better? Like that's maybe one out of every 100 posts, because people that are suffering and need support go to those spaces to get that support, which means it's going to be a bad story on one side or the other, usually with somebody either like not having boundaries or somebody being violated or somebody being catfished or blackmailed or something horrible and awful. So it's by no means representative. Like, you know, if you go to like a help desk or something, you're going to get the people that need help with stuff and have questions, not the people that have figured it out just fine on their own. So I think that's probably, it's just like a support group. It's a way to get, help with stuff, especially anonymously, whereas it might be a little more difficult to get that like directly in person in a community. I don't think that is representative of the community on the whole or how common mistreatment is within BDSM, because it's just the selection bias of those websites and what they're there for. as far as it maybe being disproportionate, between dominants and submissives, I think a lot of dominants get taken advantage of in a way that they don't talk publicly about, or that they wouldn't understand because of how they construe power dynamics as being a real violation or something that's worth talking about out in the open. Because they're the ones who are in control, right? They're the ones who are supposed to have all the power. And so if somebody mistreats them or talks badly to them or does whatever, they just sort of expect to take it on the chin and not complain about it or not get help because they're just more likely to keep quiet about that because they don't really expect to get support, or they don't realize that they might need it or benefit from it. I think people that are submissive when they're going through a tough time, and although a lot of people I don't think realize when they get into advice that the other person is the issue. There's a lot of posts from new submissives that are like, how can I be a better sub to my dom? And then you read the question and then you get down to it and you're like, oh no, sweetie, no, you should back away from that. Actually, that's probably what you need to be doing. You're perfectly fine. They've got the problem. So that's there too. But I do think that one element that is worth considering is that because of what we're playing with in BDSM, because it's so emotional and involves so much vulnerability, just implicitly because of that, there is a much higher risk that you are going to wade into waters that could trigger something or be upsetting. I wouldn't say that the BDSM community attracts predators more so than any other hobby group does. But there are dynamics within BDSM that people can take advantage of, either intentionally or not, to have to control someone or convince them or coerce them, and that's obviously not healthy. And those levers are just so much more apparent in BDSM than they are in vanilla life, and so it's easier to call out and talk about. And because we talk so much in Kink about communication and negotiation and consent and boundaries and setting limits and, what a healthy relationship looks like, way above and beyond just standard monogamous, vanilla life, which those things are sort of mostly unspoken, it's more likely that you're going to run into issues and then be able to get help, or people are going to be able to identify what the problem is, because you're going to get that sense that ooh, this isn't normal, because it hasn't been normalized in mainstream society the way that maybe some common problems in vanilla relationships are largely normalized in a lot of different places in media. But also, if you look at, r/relationship advice or r/dead bedrooms or I'm sure there's all kinds of other sex advice subreddits and things too out there, but those are the big ones. If you look at those, 99% of the stories on there are monogamous vanilla people having problems. And there are millions of people use those subreddits. But I don't think those stories are representative of monogamous life, because thankfully I've never known someone who's discovered that their partner has a secret second family, or that their boyfriend doesn't actually want them to get an abortion and is trying to guilt them out of it. Those kinds of stories are really common on those relationship subreddits, but they're not common in real life. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that answers the question necessarily, but yeah. Yeah. No, I'm glad you can make it, Caitlin. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I get it. I've helped run an organization in my area. The number of consent violations is just as high as the vanilla world. It's just easier to hear about it in our community because we talk to each other. Yeah. I mean, within a friend group, right? If somebody goes through a breakup or something, they don't usually talk. I mean, maybe they might vent to their girlfriends about it, but they're not going to be I have to make sure I warn other people not to date Josh. People don't usually talk that way. And there's not that kind of communication network between different groups of monogamous sets of friends the way that there is with, within Kink. Where, a vanilla friend group, to figure out fucking Josh. Sorry, I'm going to name Josh in the chat. There's some guy named Josh, this person's dating them. They have a breakup. Oh, he's terrible. He's toxic. He's awful. Everyone swears off to not be friends with him anymore because he's obviously a jerk and a bad friend. And then he goes off to a different friend group on a different side of the city. there's no overlap between friends, no reasons for any of them to communicate. They're not in any sort of larger social group together, and no one fucking knows that Josh is an asshole as he moves from group to group to group. Whereas in BDSM, because of the fact that, you know, we have large events that span several interrelated communities, and, you know, we have more cross communication between different subgroups within BDSM in one area, a person like Josh can't just like jump ship and be part of 3 different friend groups before anyone realizes, you know, hey, this is a bad guy. The closest you get to that is like you have women that post about like men on dating apps and like Facebook groups, or like, is anyone else dating this man? Has anyone found my husband on this dating app? And then that's kind of close, but that's about as you know, as close as you're going to get to that. Yeah. I laugh at someone if they found out that their partner if their partner had a second family. I mean, I wouldn't laugh at them. That sounds really horrible and awful. And I mean, I don't even know how you'd swing that, but you know, people have. It's not the first time it's happened. Every Josh I've known has been perfectly pleasant. I know. I actually don't know any Joshes who are like bad people. Other J names, however, some of them can be a little suspicious. I actually have a joke. I have a joke that is like this is one of my like inside joke polyamory dating things is you know, I'm always wary of men with J names. Cause it's not even because of my own experiences, it's just because I know friends and like metamors where like the piece of shit in their life always has a fucking J name. Like just the most awful, like just I don't even gonna repeat any of it. It's just terrible. Yeah. Just lurking and catching strays. Sorry. Somebody had to. I had to pick a name. It was going to end up being somebody. Okay. Yeah. So that's that on that. I don't know what's going on there. I'm hoping that it's not representative of a larger trend, but it's so hard to talk about. Like, for the same reasons that critiquing polyamory is hard to talk about. Because, of course, the people who are the most apt to have those kinds of conversations, they're the first ones to be like, haha, uggo, weird, freaky, kinky people. Clearly, they're ill-suited to life. Disgusting, horrible. I can't believe I have to even look at these people. And they can't separate out, like, hey, what structurally could be going on in BDSM that maybe makes talking about consent violations both easier and harder, or makes it so abusers stay in communities for longer, versus, again, haha, uggo. Like, we can have one conversation without doing the low blows that don't even like mean anything. Like, still pointless. Especially because you see all different kinds of people do BDSM. Like, yes, there are average people who are average size that have a typical American body that do BDSM. And there are also people who are professional contortionists and circus artists and voice actors who do BDSM and who are very attractive and have, are conventionally hot and would not have problems finding partners even if they weren't kinky. Like, it's just silly. It's just a dumb argument to begin with. But with kink, I think there are things that make talking about consent issues in BDSM like difficult, and I think those things are worth talking about. Like, I think on Fetlife, right? Like, you can't directly name people. You have to do like secret code word stuff, and then it's hard to like search for people. So you have to essentially be on the website, be friends with or in the network of somebody at the same time to be able to catch their post where they talk about a bad actor, and then that hopefully sparks other people talking about it, so then it stays alive for a little bit longer. But then, if you're new to an area, until you've gotten to the point when you know people well and you like people tell you these things in confidence, maybe in person, what are you going to do? Search through everyone's writings in a local area just to see, do they have any like hints about somebody who could be a bad actor that I should like DM them about? Like, it's not a very good system, at least on Fetlife, which is the main gateway for people. There are obviously like smaller like vetting groups and like local organizations that, on a smaller scale can be helpful for that, but not everywhere has that. And in fact, I would say probably most places don't have that, especially not something that like a new person who's the most vulnerable is going to be able to easily access, right? It's the missing staircase problem that classically. And then you also have the issue of, in BDSM, a lot of what we do when there is a consent violation, the law doesn't know how to handle it. When you're talking about something in a vanilla context, not everything is necessarily against the law everywhere, but a lot of the most common stuff is either going to be like assault or rape or like something along those lines where, okay, the law is very cut and dry. You can't force somebody to like touch your penis in a back alley, you know, at 2 a.m. and threaten them with a knife. Like you can't do that. That's just bad. Whereas in a kink setting, things that can be consent violations, the law does not like really apply to in any way. Like, okay, you say that you absolutely don't do TKs, which is like a style of rope bondage harness. You don't ever do them. It would risk nerve damage. Somebody put you up in a suspension, and then while you're up in the air, they change your harness to like be a TK style that you didn't consent to. But because you're wearing a gag and you're suspended in the middle of the air, like you can't say anything or communicate that's not what you want, and so you just have to like deal with it until you get down. Like that's not like something that the law is like equipped to deal with as a consent issue. They just go, well, but you know, how like what, like, you know, you consented to like virtually the same thing but without the arms included, so is it really that big of a deal? And it's awful, it's terrible, like trying to navigate all of that. So there's nothing like legally often that you can do unless it's really egregious or like a very large pattern with multiple people. And then even then, whether you have a restraining order or not, most places will allow people that they will allow somebody who has a restraining order against somebody else to be in the same space as the person that they have a restraining order against. Because if it's a public place, like if it's like a hotel lobby or if it's like a hotel ballroom for a big convention, if it's a private members only club, it may be slightly different. But a lot of places, especially really big events, are like, well, even if you have an RO against this person or a PO against them, like we can't prevent them from coming into the space. We can't bar them from buying a ticket. What we can do is, you know, you have a security person with you to help enforce. You know, you're not allowed to be like within 300 feet of this person to make sure you guys don't end up in the same room together, but that's about as best we can offer. And a lot of venues will not ban somebody. If something didn't happen at their event that one of their staff saw, like they're not going to ban people because it gets, and I don't envy this, you know, I get why they maybe have this as a rule of thumb. They have to wade through, okay, what's the difference between like regular run-of-the-mill poor communication and an intentional consent violation? What's the difference between a relationship that was kind of toxic and didn't end well and abuse? And where do we draw the line on what is a permanent blacklist versus a probationary period versus like take a consent class and come back to the next party versus like don't do anything at all? And it's so messy. And I think those are the things that we could be talking about is like, how do we deal with consent issues in BDSM? Not like, again, haha, uggo, right? I want to do rope bondage, but I'm so worried about how my scoliosis might affect that. Well, I would love to help you with that, but that is that is medical advice. I can't tell you exactly what would be okay with that or not. I might talk to, if you have a doctor or somebody you see for that condition, you can talk to them about, hey, I'm thinking about doing rock climbing. Is there something that I should be concerned about like, you know, rappelling while doing rock climbing or something, you know, or if I'm zip lining or something, right? Not a one-to-one correlation, but it maybe is close enough to where they could give you a sense of like, if you need to be concerned about anything. But that's definitely a doctor conversation there for sure. How evil could someone be? What a terrible situation to be in. Hopefully one day the law catches up with modern times. I really, really hope that is the case because unfortunately there are a lot of bad actors. I know quite a bit about restraining orders. I've had many people in my life that have had to get restraining orders and I've been there to walk through the process. I will say that. And it's, you know, and it's not even like I've seen this happen at conventions with other people. Like I know people who have restraining orders against their partners and their abuser shows up, or their ex-partner, right? And their abuser shows up to the convention and then like starts problems with them. Like that's the law. And that's like it's also so variable everywhere, right? Like how these things are enforced, what it takes to get these things. Like it's hard to make any generalized statements, but at least at how one event I'm thinking of handled it, it essentially had to escalate to somebody very flagrantly violating a restraining order before anything was actually done to kick them out of the event. And it really messed up somebody's day, and that's putting it mildly. Oh, sweet. Got a paid membership. Thank you so much for the gifted subs. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, there is a good person named Jay. Yes, you've recovered the esteem of your namesake. Thank you. Yes, also not all rope requires suspension, and also there are ways to accommodate different body types. Yes, it's a good general statement, I think, there. Some doctors will also give you an answer if you can just ask straightforward about rope bondage without using a proxy. Yeah, I mean, if you can do that, and if you think that they know what that is, so that's definitely the best option, but I know it's not possible for everyone, and not everyone feels comfortable with their doctor having that level of detail about their life. Is the pentagram bra a meme? I didn't know that. I guess it is really popular. Wait, you can't name people on Fetlife? I did my account like 10 years ago because I got sick of guys ignoring my "I'm a lesbian, don't message me" into the bio. I seem to be recalling adding folks there. Yeah, so there is, it's their spotlighting rule. So what that means is you can't say like at somebody's username or like at somebody. I don't think you can use somebody's full legal name, but it's definitely no usernames, and usually scene names and things too will get you pulled potentially if somebody reports it as being a spotlighting issue. So the idea is you can talk about people, but you have to use a pseudonym. You can't directly identify them. You can't like at them with their username, at least for like call out posts. I don't know. I was very, very first on Fetlife 10 years ago, so it might have been different then, but at least as far as I can recall, minimum the past 5 years, that's how it's been. Yeah, they may be enforcing that a little bit differently these days. Not sure. Yeah, the pentagram. It's the pentagram bra harness where like it looks like they got like the center of the pentagram like right here, and then it looks like a pentagram, like a star shape. It's a popular look for like leather harnesses, and also people do it with rope too. It's one of those easy, quick to do, decorative, flattering things for people. It's a good intro harness, I think. We have exactly one Josh, and he has been called out. Sorry. Dominance get greatly taken advantage of, so it's so hard to accept that you did give up control in this kind of situations, I think. Yeah. Very much. I think, I don't know, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. I'm going to Munch soon. I am worried men will think I'm a sub, as this happened often. How do I get taken seriously? Oh, Naomi, I don't know if you mean soon as in like an hour, or if you mean at some point in like the next month. Well, the thing is, my gut instinct, my gut reaction to that is, you can't expect shitty men to treat you with respect because they're going to see what they want to see. And if they want to believe that all women are submissive, if you could be wearing a sign around your neck that's like, "I am a female dom, do not talk to me," and they will approach you and they will ask you, "Hey, what's your sign about? Who's that for?" So don't, like, you might have a little bit, just, it's always going to happen a little bit. But if you want to be, I think, how do you communicate like dominant energy in like a munch friendly way? the main thing I think about with like femdoms versus submissives and like being kind of coded correctly, femdoms tend to wear more layers, wear more clothing, be more covered up, tend to, I think, not necessarily have a big personality, but be very like sure of themselves and confident. A lot of it is in the way that they carry themselves and how they speak to and address people. So it's going to be a combination of dress and then like, obviously your personality is your personality, but then what are people's first impressions like? So like if I was thinking of like a submissive outfit to wear to an event, even like a munch, I would probably think like a pleated skirt and a crop top and a collar. That would be like, that in my mind is like stereotypical submissive at a munch outfit. Whereas like a femdom outfit would probably be, a nice, a nice pair of like fitted black leggings or maybe like really wide leg, like black trousers. Okay, this is just getting into my personal sense of style. Wide leg black trousers. Maybe some kind of belt, especially if you have like a bondage kind of belt. I think that would be cute. Nice heels, good heels. And then I would probably wear, this is an outfit I would wear. This is an outfit I have worn. This is one of my outfits that I have in my closet. Really wide leg pants, nice belt with a good buckle on it, lace, like lingerie, like bustier top that like covers the bits, black blazer on top of it, and then like nice necklace. I would probably do, and if you wanted to signal like dominance, I would wear a key. Because that kind of has like key holder vibes to it. And I think, locks and things people normally associate with submissives, whereas a key is like, I'm holding somebody's key. I'm looking for the lock to my key. I'm not the one wearing the lock. I'm not wearing a collar. That is, the kind of outfit that I wear. It's more covered up, but has a little bit of like a sexy edge to it, but I don't think it necessarily reads as submissive, especially if you're going by yourself. I feel like the most femdom hair is like a high ponytail. Like a high ponytail. Whereas the most submissive hair I feel like is like braids or like pigtails. These are just my off the wall assumptions. This is just my free association with this. I don't know if this is actually true or not, but that's how I feel about it. Yeah, those are the kind of outfit choices I'd probably look for, but it's going to be mostly probably in how you carry yourself. And like, basically as soon as you get the opportunity, just like set the standard of like introducing yourself as a dominant person if you want to make sure to be read that way. Somebody introduces you, or they say hi to you and they're like, oh, hey, are you new here? And then you can be like, oh, yeah, my name's Naomi. It's my first time going to this munch and I'm curious about exploring dominance. Like just right up front, you don't even have to call yourself a dom or anything, but you're putting it out there that like, I am on that side of the slash and I am curious about that. Or hopefully people will pick up on that and you'll just be able to kind of weave into conversations that you're not submissive. Hopefully people won't make too many assumptions without you saying what you are, but it does happen from time to time. Mm-hmm. Do you find that male subs take skinny femdoms more seriously than BBW doms or no? I think sexism is a multifaceted thing, and I think that I've seen it. It's hard to compare because I've seen it bad every which possible direction. It doesn't really matter. As far as real life goes, I'm not sure. I think that there is a potential for either one of those body types to be fetishized in an inappropriate way by male submissives. I think probably skinny femdoms get put more on a pedestal, like they're more valued, but I think that also leads to them being more tokenized and like more put on a pedestal and like less seen as being real. Whereas BBW, let just use your phrasing, women who are femdoms, I think people are also likely to make weird or assumptive comments about their body or what they want to do as a result of their body type, and just it's bad always as far as I can tell. I think in general, unfortunately, a lot of male submissives, because of how they're socialized, the way that we talk about BDSM, how they're exposed to it, usually initially through pornography, leads people in that role to have a lot of assumptions and maybe not have the social graces to approach people as whole, complex human beings. At conferences, I noticed the more sloppily dressed people tend to be more senior and established, while more nicely dressed people tend to be more junior and contingent, similar to Munches. I don't know what you mean by junior/contingent. Well, first of all, living in Portland and Seattle, everyone dresses casually all the time. So it's not like a thing that like I've noticed a huge difference between in terms of, I would say the difference is people who are younger and newer dress in stereotypically nice ways, what they think dressing up means in a kink context. They're the most likely to show up wearing like plain black lingerie and a plain like black business suit. Most doms who have been in lifestyle for a long time realize that trying to flog somebody in a 3-piece suit is like not really an easy task most of the time, unless you want to like burn up. So I think wearing that kind of outfit maybe signals unfamiliarity with like kink dress norms, but it doesn't mean they're dressing nicer. I wouldn't say that I generally see people dressing at conventions like sloppy. I think you're going to see the whole spectrum of people dressing. I think especially day 2 and day 3, people are going to be dressing comfy because they just were at a dungeon until 3 a.m. and then they got up at 9 a.m. to go to a class. So if college kids are going to go to class in their pajamas, why wouldn't they go to a dungeon and a convention in their pajamas where it's probably even more normal? I just sort of resent the idea that like people are sloppy. Like, academic conferences. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I meant BDSM conferences and I was like, I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about academic conferences that have nothing to do with kink, I think, obviously if you're trying to make a good impression and network, you're going to dress up more than somebody who like is the guy in the field, I think that's probably a known thing there. Unless somebody like always wears a suit because, just they've had the same suit since 1989. They're going to change that anytime in the near future. I don't think BDSM parties, generally speaking, I don't think, well, there are BDSM parties that overlap with orgies. I don't go to those. They exist theoretically, but they're not my thing at all. I cannot think of anything that would be worse for me mentally or physically than having a bunch of strangers touching me sexually. I think I would like to crawl into a hole and die. If that is my nightmare, I would scream and I would leave the room immediately. But I'm happy for people that enjoy that. It is so not compatible with my brain. It is definitely not my thing. All right. 15-minute warning, y'all. If I missed your question, please go ahead and re-ask it again now. We'll try my best to get to it before the end of the stream. But I can't make any promises. If you want to make sure I get to it, you can go ahead and use a super chat, or you can use Streamlabs down below. Either way, it'll read your question out loud as it has for a couple people already, and then I will get to it right away. But otherwise, I will go in the order that they come in as much as possible, maybe following along some thematic lines, but ask your questions now. Speak now or forever hold your peace. It's akin to the old sentiment, you let a girl beat you, people will say, you let a sub do that to you? The belief is one is inherently inferior, so how could they possibly abuse you? Yep, Even when they're perpetuating violence, it's still somehow wrapped up in like misogyny and weird expectations somehow. What is Bandit's most favorite treat? Where is she? I think she's still... Oh, she's... Okay. Bandita. Hi, sweet girl. What's your favorite treat? What's your favorite one out of all the ones? You want to come over here? Yeah, come here. Come here, sleepy girl. Oh, you're so sleepy, honey. You're so sleepy. Why'd you go over there, honey? I thought you were in the other room. Hi. Oh, girl, come here. Sweet baby. Yeah, she has a little smirk that she gets when she's been sleeping because on one side of her little face when she's laying down, it like makes her smirk a little bit. What's your favorite treat, honey? Tell the audience, they want to know. I think her favorite, if I had to pick for her on her behalf, she goes absolutely bananas for beef cheek. She loves beef cheek. cottage cheese. Oh, that might actually be her favorite. I think cottage cheese might be number one. What do you think, honey? What's your number one? Cottage cheese? I think that's number one. It could be close, especially because I'm vegan. I don't give her people food very often. And so she mostly just has like other types of food when I'm visiting family that eats meat. I think if I gave her like a whole chicken that was stuffed with cottage cheese inside, I think she would die immediately and go to heaven. I think that would probably be her favorite. She likes chicken, likes cottage cheese. She likes steak. You've had steak like once, I think. We had like leftover like prime rib or something from, I don't know, like a Thanksgiving or something. But yeah, those are her favorites. She's definitely a meat and potatoes kind of girl. Not like me at all. There we go. All right. We're laying down. Okay. She is cheese with the beef. And yeah, that is what she would say if she could talk. Right on the money. All righty. All right, looking for questions. Skipping over that one. Hi, do you want down, honey? Are you done? Okay, all right. I respect you and your boundaries. Scrolling. Here we go. Well, I'm not 4'10", but close enough, I guess. When I see femdoms with male sub videos, it seems their treatment of their subs are more harsh than male doms with female subs. Do you find this in real life? Oh, that's a good question. I will say this, most of the male subs I know are very, very heavy pain bottoms. If they don't switch and they're just submissive, most of them are very masochistic and like take a lot of pain. Whereas with the female subs I know, it's a lot broader of a spectrum. Like there are fem subs who are players of that level or even heavier, but also it's the whole spectrum to like no pain whatsoever. So I guess my experience is not that like male subs take more pain or like get treated more harshly by their partners. I think it's just a difference in like their motivations behind what they're doing, what they get out of it. And I think with female submissives, it's a little bit of a broader range of things, whereas at least, again, my limited subjective experience with male submissives, if they're playing in the public scene and they have a partner, they tend to be kind of in this band as opposed to like here, if that makes sense. But I think, emotionally, which is maybe part of this question too, not just like the physical pain side of things, I would say that there does tend to be more emotional warmth, observing from the outside, in the average male dom female sub relationship than female dom male sub. And I think that's by design. I think that's what people in those relationships are looking for when it is that way. Like they want somebody who's a little bit more harsh and cold and distant. That's kind of the stereotype. Not universally, but I think there just tends to be, more like mommy doms are definitely a thing, but they're not the like most common version of femdom that I've noticed. And the ways that they're nice and softer are different. Do you think you will ever clearly define what consent is or what we are supposed to assume what true consent is? Asking for a friend. I feel like whenever I talk about consent, I talk about like using the Fry's model as a way to understand like what consent looks like. And that's pretty much how I talk about it. I don't think it's like a mystery. Like I know people are like, consent's so confusing. And how are you like... Asking for a friend's kind of a funny way to put that, I guess. Like somebody who like doesn't have a YouTube account but knows my videos. Like consent. You mean like definitionally? Like what does consent mean? like, I guess I don't find that as useful as like describing like, here are different methodologies you can use for like giving and receiving consent, I guess, because I don't think that like just having one definition of this is what consent is like particularly helpful. But I feel like whenever I talk about, you know, consent, it's pretty, I don't know. Am I missing? Have I gone this long without defining something that needed to be defined that people couldn't figure out otherwise? Like, I'm open to the idea that could be a gap, but I don't think it is. Yeah, there's definitely a wide range of DOMs out there. Mm-hmm. Female subs will enjoy pain types that male subs will go bonkers and lose it over. Yeah, I think that's also true too. Like I maybe should have mentioned that as well. Like the types of scenes that are really, really pain focused that male subs versus female subs do. And my just one perspective and experience tend to be pretty different. I mean, you know, genital torture in particular, like, you know, female genital torture tends to be less common than, you know, with people that have penises. But I mean, it still happens both ways. I did not see a question about a Facebook invitation. I don't know what that's a reference to. So if there was a question there, you should probably re-ask it. She is very cozy. That is, her way is just coziness. She is always cozy no matter where she goes. Literally, she could be sleeping on gravel and she would be happy as can be. There's actually a really fun Stanford Encyclopedia Philosophy article critiquing the concept of informed consent from a medical perspective, not a kink one, if memory serves. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because informed consent, like, yeah, with medical stuff is, I mean, in kink it's nuanced as well, but it's at a different scale. You know, suddenly you get people that are signed up to have gynecological exams done on them without their knowledge, you know, because they're getting a surgery done at a teaching hospital for something totally unrelated, like... The fact that that's a thing that happens is that's how I know we're on the nightmare timeline. is that. There's a lot of other things too that clue you in about it, but that's definitely one of them. All right, put your questions in the chat. You're running out of time. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. You've had warning. This is. Oh no, yeah, I have a tattoo. I haven't There's a picture of it on my Instagram, but yeah, there you go. That's part of it. It's on you can see most of it on my Instagram, like the back part at least you can see on Instagram. But yeah, it's a pretty cool little collage. Yeah, but it does kind of look like my hair. It's all kind of molds together. Cheapest place to find decent BDSM clothing, whips, etc. I don't have anything that's like cheapest that I necessarily recommend, because I think for good BDSM gear, it's worth getting fewer items, but that you spend more money on. Was, you know, you pay for what you get when it comes to buying a whip, right? You know, you can get a plastic paracord, you know, like just straight up, like, you know, plastic. Paracord actually is fine for whips, but like a cheap plastic whip from Wish is not going to serve you very well for either learning how to throw an actual whip or using it on other people. So, there is a toy maker that's on Etsy that's called the Frugal Dom, who makes kind of upcycled BDSM toys from like DIY stuff essentially. And I don't really use that kind of equipment, but you know, if you're just looking for something cheap and you don't mind that it maybe is kind of funny or silly, and maybe that's a bonus for you, that's probably a good place to look. I do also have links below I have like recommendations and, you know, website lists and things for where to buy different types of equipment and, you know, where my favorite places are, but it's not sorted by cheapest because, again, my philosophy is fewer, nicer things as opposed to lots of cheap stuff. But obviously I have the privilege of I've gotten to test out a lot of stuff. I know what I like that would be worth spending money on. And if you haven't gotten an opportunity to sort of sample, you know, paddles versus floggers versus whips versus chains versus handcuffs. You know, if you haven't sampled any of it yet, how do you know what to spend the money on? Because you might spend $100 on a nice piece of equipment and then not like playing with it. So that, you know, fair enough there. not trying to pressure anybody time-wise. Just want to make sure people aren't surprised when I don't get to their question at the end. Speaking of consent, I think it's shocking. I'm not reading the rest of that. Promote videos teaching people how to role play R word. Well, first of all, you're assuming that I do that because I talk about it in my videos, which I don't know if you've noticed. I have hundreds of videos. I don't do every kink that I talk about in all of my videos, dude. Sorry. I actually don't have any public educational content like teaching people how to do that kind of thing. It's actually all paywalled. So, you know, sorry. If that offends you, don't watch it. I have a very clear sense of what I think is immoral, and it's not one of them. My favorite tool is a crop I got from a horse and tack shop, and it was only $18. Ooh, good savings. Have you ever heard about people doing spontaneous mini scenes? I find it helps keep the dynamic up when I or someone else has a heavy workload or chronic pain. Yes, I actually have a quite old video about doing mini scenes, and I'm not going to claim credit for inventing the idea, but I'm pretty sure my video I did about that like 7 years ago is like one of the reasons why it's popular and why that terminology is used. So yes, that is a thing that I'm aware of. Getting a kick out of getting a blood drawn is definitely one of the side effects of being involved in kink and doing needle play for sure. There must be a name for saying no offense in conjunction with saying something offensive. Lying. That's what that's called. That's called lying. You have misrepresented your intention at the beginning of the sentence. Oh yeah, and this is I started with this. Yeah, my tattoo artist thought I was crazy, but I knew what I wanted. Okay, I had a clear vision. What the clear vision was, I gave her a list of things that I thought were really cool, and then I said, "Put that together in a sick way that you think is awesome." And then she was like, "Sweet," and then she did it. It was great. OMG, asexual talking about risky sex kinks. Give me a fucking break, dude. Also, especially because when I talk about CNC, I'm very clear to emphasize the fact that CNC is not just like rape play, right? Like CNC is also like making your partner eat a cantaloupe when they hate the taste of cantaloupe, or like making somebody do a cold plunge when they don't like being cold. Like that's my CNC stuff. Most of the time is like not sex related. Oh, it's almost all like my partner is compelling me to do things I don't really want to do because they get a kick out of making me do things that cause me to suffer that I don't like. Like, sorry, don't know what to tell you. That's just how it is. Crazy, we got Vlad the Impaler in the chat. Funny meeting you here. Funny meeting you here. But yes, I have heard of people doing mini scenes. I think I got sidetracked in the middle of answering that. Here's the Facebook question. Got an ad on Facebook by a user with a few friends, many followers, and immediately asked for WhatsApp and invited to more where they live. Red flag. Oh, absolutely. If some random person on Facebook is like asking for a WhatsApp, that has to be a scam account, because they could just buy followers on Facebook, right? Like, you know, they could just be friends with 1,000 other bot accounts. Like, doesn't mean that they're a legitimate person at all because they have a lot of friends. That's definitely a red flag. I would not. That seems like it's some kind of scam. I don't know what, but it could be a scam. What is that around the heart? I don't know, you guys. I don't know if it's gonna focus enough to be able to see, but it's The heart there's flowers and swirly bits. And again, there's the full picture on my Instagram if you want to go look at it. My tattoo artist tagged me in it. But it's a whole collage. I just went looking and I'm struggling to find the video on mini scenes. Do you have, I think I call them micro scenes is what I called. I think the video's on micro scenes. So look for micro scenes. It's probably that. You're going to drink water, eat a vegetable, and get 8 hours of sleep tonight. Oh no! Except for I do all those things already. But yes, in general, that kind of vibe. That's the kind of BDSM I've been looking for, non-sexual. It is very possible. Lots of people are into that. I was rushing before time ran out. What is the name of the Australian man who made women get into BDSM without consent? That is the House of Cataphor / James Robert Davis is his name. He had some handle on like Master James or something. I don't want to misquote what the name is, but it's he was on Fetlife for a long time. He had an Instagram account, but like pretty much all those things are long gone at this point. There's some archives of them, but that's about it. But it's James Robert Davis, and I think he was around Adelaide. I think it was an A name. I think it was Adelaide. Just in case you've associated with them or you want to know. They're in jail currently, so they're not currently running any BDSM events, thankfully, but they did a number on that scene down there from what I understand. The CNC scene idea that sticks to me is Teletubby torture. I know. Aren't I so unethical as a content creator for suggesting that people should tie up their partner, leave them in a dark, well, don't leave them and tie them up, but tie up their partner, put them in a dark room and use them as a footstool while they're being forced to watch, like Clockwork Orange style, one Teletubby song on repeat for an hour and a half. Yes, that is, I am a sadist. I won't lie. These ideas come from an authentic place of torturing people. But, it doesn't always have to be about penises. Doesn't always have to involve a penis. Oh, oh no, okay, I got to that one. Oh, we're already at 3 after. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, I'm already here, so I'm going to answer one more question. It's from Jazzy Bunny. Congrats on being the last question of the night. My local Munch has 2 hosts. I've talked about one of them before and how she's violating people's consent, and the other host is not doing anything. Oh, dear. Now I'm uncomfortable and don't want to go. Advice. Well, that sucks. I'm very sorry. Especially if you have limited options in your local scene about where to go. If one person is violating somebody else's consent and the other person is being an enabler by not doing anything about it, I think they deserve to be called out. I don't know if you have a back channel way of talking to people that go to that Munch or other people who might be in leadership in other places in your local community. It might be worth it to express some concerns privately first and see if other people have had similar experiences. But I think the thing to do in that situation, if like nothing is moving, nothing is changing, if you feel up for it, if you feel brave, if it's like safe for you to do so, I think making a post about it on Fetlife and saying that it's uncomfortable is helpful and could start a dialogue that could make things change eventually. Alternatively, if you don't feel safe doing that, if you're worried that it would be worse for you than it wouldn't actually change anything, okay, no one has to make you talk about anything that you're not comfortable with. I would say instead, what you could do is just remove yourself from a situation, right? Go to different Munches, associate with different people, and move on from trying to be in that space. And then if people ask you, like, why'd you stop showing up? Where'd you go? You could say, I'm not going there anymore because I'm uncomfortable with leadership because they've been violating people's consent, right? And then people can ask more questions. They can think about that for themselves. And you don't necessarily have to name anybody in public, but people will know why you're no longer going there. Yeah, that's very shitty. Then people should not be enabling consent violation that way. And I would wager that you are not the only person to have noticed that or experienced something negative as a result of that. Personally, your CNC video gave me much comfort realizing my fantasies were healthy, and now I'm in a relationship with the best daddy. So to hell with that being big with the big rude meanie. Aw, thank you, Allison. I'm so glad to hear that you're in a really good relationship. That is, every single time I hear somebody in my comments or a viewer or somebody like, you know, they watch my video and it gives them a way to like talk to a new partner or like find what they're looking for or like, you know, relax about, you know, feeling guilt or shame about something. That is why this is worth doing, like by far and away, is because of that. That's amazing. Anyhow, it is 5 after. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up, y'all. Thank you so much for being here on this Friday. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Drink some water, have a little snack, have a good weekend, stay safe. If you've not watched the video yet for this week, please do. The most recent one I published was earlier today, and it is all about ADHD and BDSM, but a lot of the advice in it is really good for all different sorts of people, even if you don't have ADHD, because it turns out some people like direction and focus and helping their partners regardless, and that's just a fun, nice thing to do. I mean, I guess in a way it's kind of like a virtual munch. I don't think you're wrong about that. Yeah, anyhow, I will see you all later. Thank you all so much. I will not be streaming. Well, probably not. I don't think I'm going to be streaming next week. Possibly. I would say 75% chance I'm not going to be streaming on Friday. I will be streaming on Twitch on Monday and Patreon on... just on Tuesday. Patreon stream on Tuesday. Maybe we'll watch the Polyfamily. I don't know if I'm prepared for that level of psychic pain. I gotta be honest. I'll think about it, but we might be doing that. I'm going to consider it. I'm going to noodle on it for a little bit. And then after that, we are going to be doing more or less like regular stuff for the rest of the week. So, I will see you all later. Have a good rest of the weekend. Stay safe. Have fun. Again, drink water. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.